Subscribe to our YouTube channel for in-depth interviews of India Inc. and press the bell icon so that you do not miss our updates.
Hello and welcome to Nirmal, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Hiral Daria. We have with us Kunal Shah, Head of Commodities Research, joining in. Welcome to the show, Kunal. Kunal, again, if you see in terms of the US dollar, it's regaining it, and there is some bit of firmness that we are seeing. It's again crossed that 91 mark and going beyond that. Do you think this is something which is going to be sustainable? And is this risk aversion sentiment lending support to the dollar, according to you?
No, this is not dollar strength. This is basically pound's weakness.
Okay.
After today's comment of British Prime Minister walking off from the Brexit talks, it seems that there is no easy way to get a Brexit deal, and
Mm,
hence pound has really crashed. So dollar index does has a weightage of pound, and because of that, dollar index has moved up. And
mm,
once dollar index moves up, you see generally commodities tends to correct. So today is one of those days that more than dollar's weakness, it is the weakness of pound which is causing dollar to strengthen, and hence we have seen some bit of correction. So I think don't worry about dollar a lot. It cannot drastically strengthen from here. But I would also like to add that one more factor people should watch out is the US 10-year bond yields. So US 10-year bond yields are right now at 0.95. So if they moves up above 1% and hovers around 1.05, that can cause strength in US dollar. So that is one thing which I would recommend to investing.com pay up. You add it in your portfolio that you should also look at the what is happening in the with the US
got it.
uh, 10-year bond yields.
Right. So with this, if you go to see today's session as well, we did see gold which ticked slightly higher. Now, the US jobs data has been slightly grim, and that actually has probably bolstered more hopes for a fiscal stimulus. And the optimism around COVID vaccine is keeping the gains under check. So then how do you advise an investor to play out gold and silver?
So my view is bullish on gold and silver. I would recommend to go long.
Mhm.
48,870 is the low of gold and 62,380 was the low of silver, what we saw right now. And I would say that any decline, any dip,
Mm.
gold around 48,850 and silver around 62,350, we will recommend to go long. For the day, we can see some bit of profit taking because the dollar index is strengthening, like I mentioned.
Mm.
So I would recommend to buy 8 dips. So already we've seen 1,000 rupees correction in silver because of dollar index have abruptly moved from 90.65 to directly 91.20. So that
Mhm.
is always going to cause some problem for gold and silver. Another thing is vaccine announcement. We are going to see that in US the actual human uh, trial is over and people will start getting COVID vaccines in next 1 or 2 days. So
Mm.
sentimentally that can cause some pressure. So at decline, I'll recommend to buy gold and silver. Gold, silver, I would recommend to go long around 62,500 to 400, and gold I would recommend to go long at around 48,850 to 900.
Right. And with this, if you have to look at crude as well, now Saudi Arabia has raised their official January crude price to Asia. China's November crude imports are rising on a month-on-month basis because the backlogs are getting cleared. So from here on, what is the outlook? Because we've already spoken about what the impact could be on the back of the OPEC meeting and the kind of production cuts that they've decided from the month of January itself. So from here on, how do you see it and what should be the strategy?
Okay, so from here, I would recommend, the strategy should be uh, for crude oil. I think still buy at dips because they have decided to increase the production by 5 lakh barrels.
Hmm.
And they are already having a production cut of 7.2 million barrels out of that 5 lakh barrels. So still 6.7 million barrels of production cut is continuing. Number one. Number two, there is a full risk on sentiment which is going on across the global asset classes. So I'll recommend to you know uh, buy crude oil at declines rather than going short immediately. 33.50, 33.40, for that levels you can short in today's trading session, and you should start going long around 33, 30, 33.20. These are the levels where you go long. Current market price, you can see a downside of another 40 rupees, 50 rupees because of the strengthening of dollar index. But 333020, go long. 3400, 3420, book your profit.
Right. And then with this, Kunal, overall, if you go to see on the back of the strength that the dollar index is showing right now, base metals have started to trade under pressure because we've seen some bit of profit booking that started to come in. Especially if you go to see right now with regard to crude as well, the inventories at SHFE have reported their first weekly increase since October. What would this actually mean for copper? And overall, in terms of base metals as well, on the back of the dollar strength, do you think this is the time to book profits?
Base metals, I'm little skeptical. Copper, today's data of China of trade data has been positive for copper. I think going forward, you can see copper can decline to levels of from here 5 to 6 rupees decline is something what I'm expecting.
Hmm.
Already it is down 590 to 593. You can sell 587, 588. You cover
Hmm.
your shorts. Nickel also slight bit of profit taking you can see, but the broader trend, I don't get very bearish triggers for going short in metals. So
Hmm.
corrections you will see, but not crash.
Hmm. Right. So, and so would buy on dips during corrections be a good strategy to look at base metals?
Base metal, I think nickel around 1210 I will buy. Copper around 585 I will buy.
Right. So that those are levels that you should be looking out for as well. In fact, there are two questions, Kunal, coming in right now. Let's take the first one. Your view with regards to where natural gas is concerned. That's the question coming in from Bhavna Bhargav.
Bhavna, the problem with natural gas is very simple weather. And if you look at on AccuWeather, key consuming regions in US are showing a forecast of relatively warmer weather. So still the winter is not picking up in US, and that is not a good news for gas. I recommended today morning also to go short around 183 for 184. 175, 176 are kind of levels you can see, and 189 should be your stop loss.
Right. And another question is that if the dollar is picking up strength, why should we not short bullion?
Yeah, it's a good question. You can short gold, but I explained you. See, sometimes you have to see the weakness of dollar. So earlier, dollar was collapsing because of the weakness in dollar. That US is going to come up with the stimulus package, and that will cause dollar to weaken.
Hmm.
So now, if you ask me the question whether the stimulus is going to come, I would say yes. What is the directional view on dollar? I would say weak,
Hmm.
but today there is an event in Europe and GBP, Great Britain pound. We've seen these both currencies going down. So it is the weakness of other currency which is helping dollar index to move up. So it is not something, a phenomenon that dollar index is going to be 93. If I'm having a view today that dollar index will shoot up to 93, 94, then perhaps I would immediately tell you guys that go short.
Hmm.
But that is not the view. The view is whatever we saw today in terms of the movement of dollar index, that is momentary. It can stay for 1 or 2 days or maximum 3 days. So you are not going to see dollar index shooting up to 93 because of this news. So that
Hmm.
is the reason I'm saying that buy at dips, because the fundamental of gold and silver are getting bullish every day. You look at US COVID cases, they are surging like anything. You look at US stimulus, apart from the stimulus they discussed before election, they are talking about another stimulus. So new
Hmm.
stimulus is talks of going on. Third, so on one hand, ETF sold, the retail demand in India, China is picking up. So that is third reason, and most important reason is for going gold right now is that all the reason which prevailed at 55,000 to
Mm,
go long in gold, they still prevail right now when the prices are 49,000. So don't worry, buy at dips, stick to the stop loss.
mm,
If somebody is having a problem, they can let me in. They can ask me in the group during evening session. I will let you know. But I'm not bearish. 300, 400 rupees maximum downside. Silver maximum 700, 800 rupees downside. Not bearish.